Hello and welcome to the Business Today show. I'm your host Udayan Mukherjee. Over the last few episodes, we've showcased some truly world-class entrepreneurs on this series. But this week, with the Sensex hitting 60,000 for the first time, we thought we'd change the game a little bit and get an investor for you. But an investor who's always thought like an entrepreneur. In fact, so much so that apparently these days he's plotting his own airline. And very soon, an insurance company backed by him will make its debut in the stock market. Well then, I've given the game away, haven't I? It is none other than the inimitable Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who I have the great pleasure of welcoming on this show now. Rakesh, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a good, happy day. We've seen a new high in the market.
Great. Yep. And 60,000 done and dusted. What do you think? There are many greater summits ahead for us in the months to come before this bull market tires out?
Well, my personal opinion, 60,000 is just a figure. You can keep counting. दिल है कि मानता नहीं, बाजार है कि रुकता नहीं. So I think we are just at the threshold of what I think is going to be one of the largest bull runs in India ever. But I think India is changing, and very few people are recognizing that change. And I think it's being led by the perceived, and the market is reading the future much better than I think we are. And despite the skepticism, I feel that we are in the, of course there can be a correction anytime. We moved from 7,500 to nearly 18,000. So corrections may come and go, but I think it's an irrevocable turn both in India's economic development and consequently the market. And I reserve the right to it. And 60,000 is just a figure. And it's not an opinion, there's empirical evidence. The day I came to the market, the Sensex was 115, 1985. Today it is 60,000. So I think tens of thousands will be added, zeros will be added. It's going to take time. And I'm sorry for unbridled optimism.
Right.
But I have a
You've seen so many bull runs in the past, Rakesh, and the biggest one that I remember is that 2003 2008 one. We just kept on going and the index multiplied several times, 6 or 7 times. Do you think we could be in the foothills of that kind of a bull run, or do you see this one differently from the last big one that we saw?
No, what I feel is that we will see that kind of bull run. It's going to take time. It may not happen in the same time period. Instead of 5, it may take 10 years. And we also had this kind of bull run in 1889 when the Sensex went from 400 to 4,000. Of course, the last 1,000 point was Mr. Mehta's contribution, right? And that didn't last from 4,000 to 3,000. So I think I think the way India is progressively changing, right? And that change is more accentuated with time. And for 10 years, we've really not gone in. We made a lot of data highs, where we crossed 12,000 between 2012, 13 and 2020. But it always fell back. There was no breadth that time. Now there's tremendous breadth in the market. And I think India has changed in terms of the corporate sector, the GST, the farm laws. For me, the farm law means that potato is not saleable in Balwan district in West Bengal at 3 rupees a kilo. In Bombay, it's not available at 40 rupees a kilo. I think nobody has read the Electricity Act. I think that act passes, it's going to be bigger than 91 reform. So the cumulative reforms that we're having, the sheer thinking of the government, and I think Modi ji is hell-bent on having this economic reform because he's hell-bent on leaving economic legacy. And he knows that if India doesn't change, the legacy cannot be changed. So I think PSU disinvestment. And what I find more appealing to me as an Indian is that this change is coming with social ends being fulfilled. People don't know what Nal Se Jal means. Every household in India will have clean water. 40% of these in India are waterborne. Ladies walk 6 kilometers to get a bucket of water. Now the aim is that every Indian should get water in his house. My help is able to get a passport because he's a Jan Dhan. He can do video talk with his children. He can remit money to his town in 1 minute flat. Right? I think we are one of the most digitized societies in the world. On the basis of Aadhaar card, my health could get a passport. So the kind of change in both social change, Rajiv Gandhi said that 15 paise of social welfare goes to the poor. I think now 85% goes. So I think people are getting myopic about or not recognizing the change that's happening in this world. And we are going to have, a country is going to have $1 billion of savings, $1 trillion of savings. We're already 650, $700 billion. We have created the infrastructure to channelize a greater part of the saving into financial assets. We've created the infrastructure to channelize the saving into the stock market. I think we are having corporate governance by the razor of the sword. You know what happened to managements where the institutional investors did not agree with them. So therefore, the change that is taking place in India is unbridled, unrecognized, and the government, I think, is hell-bent on doing it. So I feel, and I think corporate profits are at the lowest level in India to GDP as they ever were. We were 8% in 2008, we came down to 3%. In America, corporate profits are 10% to GDP. In India, they're 4%. We are going to reach 8%. We were there in 2007. GDP is going to grow, percentage of profits to GDP is going to grow. The amount of savings which are coming to markets are going to get just, people say 4 crore new demat accounts have opened. And there are 90 crore adult Indians. I look at the balance, 85 crores, when are they coming? They are going to come one day. So I'm very bullish. And luckily, I have been bullish from May of 2020. And I feel like writing an article that believe in India, fellow Indians, we will do it. I don't know why Indians are so pessimistic. They forget that we have 40% of world GDP in the 17th century. So I think India has got, change comes slowly because of the democracy, but it comes surely. Nothing is top down, everything is bottom down. Once the change comes, it is forever. So I am very, very optimistic and bullish. And this bullishness, I am very patriotic, but I don't, I don't see my patriotism or mix it with economic realism. I think economically, India is on the verge of various change. And what's happened, we're going to have, I think in the next 12 to 15 months, $1 trillion of foreign exchange reserves. Nobody can then attack the rupee. Right? Our software exports are going to grow at 15%. I think the value added of software exports in India is greater than the value added of all the merchandise exports put together. So I don't know why people don't recognize this. 45% of every medicine eaten in America is made in India, my friend. You talk of strategic dependence. 45% of every medicine eaten in America is made in India. So I don't see why India will not grow, prosper. Why every Indian will not have a meal, a car, a house, clean water. We are going to get there. And I see this kind of growth continuing for decades. Because if change takes place and we have a home market, we have some of the greatest talent and skills in the world. We never stole the technology for the nuclear bomb, we never sold it to them. We sent a vehicle to Mars. We did it 1/10 the cost of NASA. So I remain very optimistic and I reserve the right to be there.
Right.
And as long as there is skepticism, but they say bull markets are born on pessimism, they grow on skepticism.
Yeah.
Right? Then there is optimism and they die on euphoria. I think we've not even reached we've just passed the pessimism phase. The skepticism has to be, I don't know much about behavioral economics, but I know there are so many skeptics on the market. So we are still, I think this if.
How are you positioning yourself, Rakesh, to play this bull run though? I mean, that's my question, because this time it seems like you're doing it differently. I mean, earlier you had a great portfolio of stocks.